Taoiseach, in relation to health, I just want to suggest that you should start taking French lessons. The French government, in recognition of the heroic work of healthcare workers, have just announced an €8 billion package of pay increases for healthcare workers because of their tremendous work in protecting the French people and French society in the face of COVID-19. Now, healthcare workers in this country have done every bit as much heroic work to protect us all, to protect our society, to protect the health system from being overrun, and they have suffered as a consequence with some of the highest infection rates, percentage-wise, of healthcare workers anywhere in the world. And I want to know, are we going to follow the example of France and reward them for that fact? And they deserve it themselves, Taoiseach, for what they've done. But I also want to suggest to you that if we are going to establish the permanent increases in capacity, which we have to have to do COVID and non-COVID care, to be able to deal with a second wave and do all the non-COVID healthcare, we need permanent increases in capacity, and that means major, large-scale recruitment. And one of the big impediments to recruiting healthcare workers are the pay inequalities for new entrants and the low pay generally that nurses and midwives and some healthcare workers have to put up with. So there's a double advantage in pay increases and pay equality for healthcare workers. One, it will reward the heroes. Two, it will help us establish the permanent increases in healthcare capacity that we need to deal with the post-COVID world.
Deputy Boyd Barrett's questions. Again, at that meeting, actually, I took the opportunity to, it was connected to health service workers all over the country via technology and online, and I thanked all of them in respect of the outstanding contribution that our frontline health care workers, and indeed those working in administration behind the scenes, the extraordinary contribution they have made to the country in relation to addressing the COVID-19 emergency. The innovation, the commitment, the trauma that many workers endured in terms of communicating with family who lost loved ones and who couldn't be with their loved ones at the time of passing. I think anybody who saw the RT Investigates programme in respect of the impact of COVID-19 on one hospital would have been very taken by the experiences of the frontline workers, the emotional experiences, apart altogether from their professional contribution. And so we're very conscious of that. Now, the French package was perhaps in a different context as well. There were other issues in terms of the wider package. And again, as a country, we've had to deal with an enormous issue here. This year, we'll have a deficit of about 30 billion at the end of the year. And so obviously, these are issues that we continue to examine. There are continuing pressures. The July stimulus is about trying to help people to get back to work, and again supporting livelihoods of those who have no job at all at the moment, and whose prospects are uncertain because of the continued prevalence of COVID-19 in our community. So this is a step-by-step approach. COVID is not over, and we have to plan not just for the next 3 months, but also for the next 12 months in terms of what our financial planning, economic planning, and how we allocate resources right now in terms of trying to deal with the range of impacts that COVID is having on different sectors of our society and of our economy.